You saw it.
Don't lie, you saw it, and you're still trying to process what just happened. Becky Lynch didn't just attack AJ Lee, she erased the line between respect and pure, calculated destruction. And if you think this was just another raw moment, you're already missing the bigger picture because this felt personal. This felt planned. And honestly, this might be the moment the entire women's division changes forever. But before we break it all down, I need you to answer this right now in the comments. Did Becky Lynch go too far? Or did AJ Lee have it coming? Because once you see every detail, every stare, every move, every second, you might just change your mind. The energy in the arena on March 16th, 2026 was already electric. You could feel it in the crowd, something was off. Not bad, just tense. Like everyone knew something big was about to go down, but nobody could quite put their finger on it. And then AJ Lee's music hit. The reaction? Absolutely insane. This wasn't just nostalgia. This wasn't just a returning legend walking down the ramp for a quick moment. This was AJ Lee stepping into a modern WWE ring like she never left. The confidence, the swagger, that signature smirk, she owned the moment instantly. But here's the thing most people didn't notice. AJ wasn't just soaking in the cheers. She was watching the crowd, watching the stage, watching for Becky. Now, ask yourself this. Do you think AJ Lee came back for a friendly return, or was she already expecting a fight? Because what happened next makes that question very interesting. AJ grabbed the mic, and before she even spoke, the crowd wouldn't let her. Chant after chant, wave after wave of noise. It was clear, this wasn't just a return. This was unfinished business. When she finally spoke, her tone wasn't emotional. It wasn't nostalgic. It was sharp. She talked about evolution, about how the women's division changed, about how she helped build something that others took credit for. And then she dropped the name, Becky Lynch. The arena erupted instantly. But AJ didn't smile. She tilted her head slightly, almost like she was challenging something unseen. She said Becky calls herself the man. But where was Becky when she was carrying the division on her back? That line hit hard. And you could feel it, the crowd shifted. Not against Becky, but definitely questioning. And right then, before AJ could say another word, Becky Lynch's music hit. The reaction? Mixed. And that's where things got interesting. Becky walked out slowly. No sprint. No immediate aggression. Just that cold, focused stare locked directly onto AJ Lee. No smile. No wave. No theatrics. Just intent. If you've watched Becky over the years, you know that look. That's not, I'm here to talk. That's, I've already decided how this ends. She stepped into the ring, mic in hand, and stood face to face with AJ. Silence for a second. Then Becky spoke. And what she said wasn't loud, but it was cutting. She didn't deny AJ's legacy. She didn't dismiss her impact. She said something worse. She said AJ was a stepping stone, not the foundation. The crowd reacted instantly, half shocked, half fired up. Now, let me ask you this. Was Becky telling the truth, or just trying to get under AJ's skin? Because AJ's reaction? That's where everything changed. AJ laughed, but not in a friendly way. That kind of laugh that says, "You really believe that?" She stepped closer. No fear. No hesitation. And then she fired back. She said Becky Lynch became the man because women like her made it possible. She said Becky didn't build the division. She inherited it. And just like that, the tension exploded. No physical contact yet, but mentally, emotionally, this was already a fight. The crowd was losing it. Back and forth they went, each line sharper than the last. But here's what most people missed. Becky wasn't reacting emotionally. She was waiting, timing something, watching AJ carefully. And then, it happened. AJ turned slightly, just for a moment, to acknowledge the crowd behind her. Just 1 second. That's all it took. Becky dropped the mic, stepped forward, and boom. A vicious forearm straight to the side of AJ's head. No warning. No hesitation. No respect. The crowd exploded into chaos. Some cheering. Some shocked. Some completely speechless. And Becky didn't stop. She grabbed AJ by the hair, slammed her down to the mat, and immediately started unloading strikes. Lefts, rights, elbows. Pure aggression. This wasn't the wrestling exchange. This was a statement. Now answer this honestly. Did Becky Lynch just defend her legacy, or did she just expose her insecurity? Because what happened next made things even worse. AJ tried to fight back. And for a moment, just a moment, it looked like she might turn things around. She landed a quick kick, tried to create space, but Becky cut her off immediately. A brutal clothesline flipped AJ inside out. The impact echoed. Becky didn't even go for a pin. Let that sink in. She didn't care about winning. She cared about sending a message. She pulled AJ up again, almost dragging her, and delivered a thunderous manhandle slam. The crowd gasped. That should have been enough. It wasn't. Becky stood over AJ, breathing heavy, eyes locked, almost angry beyond reason. Then she did something that changed everything. She did it again. Another manhandle slam. At this point, it wasn't about dominance anymore. It was personal. Officials rushed the ring. Referees, security, trying to pull Becky away. And Becky? She resisted. Not like someone putting on a show. Like someone who genuinely didn't want to stop. It took multiple people to separate her. AJ was laid out. Not moving. The crowd went from loud to uneasy. Because now the question wasn't who won. It was, what did we just witness? Becky finally stepped back, breathing hard, hair wild, eyes still locked on AJ. And then this moment right here, you need to remember this. She didn't look proud. She didn't look relieved. She looked justified. Like everything she just did made perfect sense in her mind. And that's what makes this dangerous. Now let's break this down, because there's more going on here than just an attack. Becky Lynch didn't snap. She planned this. Think about it. She let AJ speak. She let the tension build. She waited for the perfect opening. That's not losing control. That's choosing violence. So, here's the real question. Is this the most dangerous version of Becky Lynch we've ever seen? And what about AJ Lee? Because, let's be real, she walked into that ring knowing exactly who Becky is. She provoked her. She challenged her legacy. She questioned her position. So now we have to ask, did AJ Lee underestimate Becky, or did she want this fight all along? Because if AJ comes back, and let's be honest, she has to after that, this isn't just going to be a match. This is going to be war. No respect. No nostalgia. No welcome back moment. Just two eras colliding with everything on the line. And here's something nobody is talking about yet. What does this mean for the rest of the women's division? Because if Becky Lynch is willing to do this to AJ Lee, what happens to everyone else? Is anyone safe? Or did Becky just send a message to the entire locker room? Drop your thoughts right now. Who do you think wins if this turns into a full match, Becky Lynch or AJ Lee? And don't just pick a name, explain why. Because this isn't as simple as it looks. Let's talk psychology for a second. Becky Lynch has always thrived when she feels disrespected. That's when she becomes ruthless. That's when she becomes the man. And AJ? AJ thrives in chaos. In unpredictability. In getting inside her opponent's head. So, what happens when both of those collide? You get exactly what we saw on Raw. But here's the twist. Becky might have made a mistake. A big one. Because attacking AJ like that doesn't silence her. That awakens her. And if you know AJ Lee's history, you know what that means. She doesn't come back for revenge. She comes back to break people mentally. So now we're looking at something bigger than just a physical rivalry. This is mind games versus brutality. Strategy versus aggression. Legacy versus dominance. And honestly, it could go either way. But I want to hear your take on this. Was Becky Lynch's attack justified after what AJ said, or completely uncalled for? There's no middle ground here. Pick a side. Because one thing is certain. This story is just getting started. AJ Lee isn't done. Becky Lynch isn't backing down. And the next time these two are in the same ring, it won't end with just two manhandle slams. It might not even end with a winner. And if you think this was shocking, Just imagine what happens when AJ Lee gets the chance to respond. Because you know she will. And when she does, Becky Lynch might finally realize she didn't just attack a legend. She woke up a night